Hi, my name is Dale Johnson, and I like to make things. I'm gonna do a Let's Draw today, I guess you can call it. I used to do this thing called Sketchbook Monday on the Vision Writers blog. Don't really do it anymore because there wasn't really any interest in it, but I figured I'll do one of these. Because one of the problems I've run into is that Junction, the game that I'm making, is a point-and-click adventure game, and when you're doing one of those, there's not really a lot to show while you're working on it that you can show without, well, giving everything away. So I figure I'll just talk about what I did this week on the game, why I draw something. Might do a few more of these in the future, depending on how well this turns out. And I figured today I'll draw. Make sure I get my brushes set up right. I'll draw Link from The Legend of Zelda. So you can kind of get a feel for how I draw. And you can't see it, but in my other monitor I've got him. Reference. Can kind of draw him in my own style though. We'll see how this turns out. Don't usually talk while I'm drawing. Or in this case, sketching. Now, this week, I've mainly been working on artwork. Mostly the environments. And I'm maybe halfway done on that. Not the artwork as a whole, but the environments. And even the ones that are done, they've still got quite a bit of ways to go. But most of the hard work has already been done, which is the layout and the basic color scheme, things like that. And that can get pretty annoying to do. Just my luck that I would pick a genre that depends so much on the quality of the background art. Do I have his shield in the right hand? Okay, he's left-handed. Yes. I did not draw his shoulders. Portions on here are not very good, you can tell. I'm sorry if you can't hear me very well. I'm still working on my setup here. Hopefully it'll be better, if not this time. I mean, I can't tell why I'm recording. Just my luck, I'll probably get this into Premiere and find out that there's no audio at all. Won't that be surprising? And fun. And go ahead and give the Master Sword. I've got several different links out in the other window. But I'm kind of basing him on the Ocarina of Time link. His head is too big. Shrink the head down. This is the one of the nice things about doing your art digitally. You can just grab stuff and resize it. And you have Control Z. That is awesome. Not quite ready to go up into his face yet. If I would have thought about it, I would have done like a thumbnail sketch in the corner so that I'd have something to work off of. It's a little too late now though. So I'm not sure how detailed most of these sketches are going to be. I'm going to try to do one every couple weeks maybe, while I talk about what I've done, or what I'm drawing, which is more what I'm talking about now. Now, one of the problems I've come up with in doing the art for Junction is that different backgrounds have kind of a different style to them, which wasn't necessarily done on purpose. It's just I draw some things better in one style. Sometimes it's more painterly style, for example, the outside environments. Let's flip him. Yeah, one thing I figured out, and a lot of people will recommend this, is flipping around your artwork. It'll give you a decent idea of what you're missing. Gives you a different perspective. Kind of hunched over. So I can't fix that. Like I was saying, some of the backgrounds have kind of more of a painterly look to them, while most of the inside ones, kind of more of a lines that are filled in. And some of that is just because at the beginning I was trying to go for a really painterly style for the backgrounds. I wanted them to work really good, but I don't do that quite as well as having outlines for everything. So I just kind of went with what was working. Where are his knees? This isn't going to be a very good link, I don't think. Zoom in. And so I'll probably go back, and a lot of them I'll try and fix up so that they kind of match. But one thing I've noticed, looking at especially the artwork for Avatar: The Last Airbender, there's actually several different styles they use for the backgrounds, I've noticed. I don't know if it's purposeful or it's different artists do different styles for the backgrounds, or what the deal is here. Let's see if I can get his eyes right. But sometimes they'll have outlines in the backgrounds, and other times it'll be more painterly, and a lot of times it's kind of a mix of both. So looking at their stuff, and they've got some really good looking stuff. I've got the art book for that series. And if you don't have it and you really like the series, I would recommend that art book. There's a lot of stuff in there that's really neat. How big should I make his nose? I'm not sure what to do with his mouth. Is he going to smile? A lot of the character's personality comes through the chin, which is something I've found out kind of in the past few years. If you can get their chin to look right, it goes a long way. Which isn't usually what you would think about. Obviously, the eyes and the mouth are what's generally most important, but if you can get the chin to look right, yeah, that's good. Give him kind of a determined face. But seeing that they kind of did that with Avatar, it's kind of a combination of both. I didn't feel so bad about the way I did mine. And his face looks so much better than his body. Let's see if we can fix that a little bit. And do I want to put his sheath back there? Why not? One more thing to draw later. Got these weird skinny legs that I've drawn on him. Moving up this foot some. That'll look better. There we go. If you hit Control H, you can hide the ant lines. Put his tunic up a little bit, just like that. And I'm not going to get really carried away with this shield. That would take forever. I like doing the characters more than I like doing the details on stuff, which is, like I kind of mentioned before, is kind of makes doing an adventure game weird, because it's the details and the backgrounds that are really what are most noticeable in that. You know what, I'm going to give him puffy pants like in Twilight Princess instead of the tights. I always thought the tights looked kind of stupid. His arm is way too long. There we go. It's got some, and I'll shrink his head down. Look a little bit better. Not the best art I've ever done, but it's better than when I started out. Okay, let's flip him back to where he was. Oops. Okay, let's deselect and then flip him back to how he was. Let's put another layer above that. dim this so I can see over it. Now, what I normally do if I'm going to do some detailed art is I'll do it 3 layers at a time, and I've done that even if I'm doing like a normal sketch. If I'm going to ink it later, I'll usually start really light, just kind of the layout, and I'll go over it another time, which is what I'm about to do, which I'll do. The first layer will be just really rough, and then the second one is I'm going to pretty close to how it's going to be for the final, but I can still be a little sketchy with it. But I figured the closer you get to the size you want the final work to be for the lines, because if I come back and I do it really, oops, wrong layer, come back and do these really thick lines, and then on my third layer, if I went with the smaller the size that I want, it doesn't work out as well. You don't know where to put the line quite as well as if you go back and just put the brush to what the size you're going to do it for the final and stick with that. And then I'll usually do my third layer will be the final inking layer, and that's where I really want it to work really good. I'm just going to do, since I'm trying to be quick and I'm already 11 minutes in here, I might have to speed some spots up if I haven't already when I go back and edit. Okay, what does his hair look like? I don't know. I'm going to be a little rough. This is really just supposed to be a sketch after all. I don't know. I might color it depending on how long this takes. I don't want to take forever. Get bored and leave. I'll get bored and leave. And then it'll just be a blank screen for the rest of the 30 minutes or whatever that I left the camera running. Okay. Give it kind of a pointy nose there. There we go. Let's see if I can get his ears to look ear-ish. Is his earring on this side? I do not remember. The reference stuff I've got in the other window, I don't have it big enough to tell. Well, it's on this side now. Oops. You know what, I'm going to move his head over some. Might as well go ahead and do this shield. When I get to this, I'm not really sure what to talk about. You'll notice I don't do curves very well. I've got a little Wacom tablet. It's like the smallest one. They call them Bamboo now. This is what the one I've got. It came out before they did the Bamboo series. I forget what they called it before then. It's not the Antuos. It's whatever's like down from that. Another thing I found out through the years is even with your really rough with your lines, if you put more detail into it, get really nitty-gritty stuff, it looks better than just, even if you got really good lines, if you don't put a lot of detail in it, it just doesn't look right. Doesn't mean you should get carried away with detail necessarily, because then it's just a mess, but don't be afraid to get into the details. And like I said, I don't enjoy doing the details myself. I like just looking at the big picture, and unless it's the face, I like getting into the details of the face a lot. Probably more than I should. What is that? One thing I've got about the Wacom tablet is I don't have it set up. Mine doesn't have buttons on it. I've just got this cheap little thing that I've used for years. I've got a better one my brother gave me. But I don't use it very much because I just like this little one better because I can use one hand on the keyboard and then one hand on the Wacom tablet. I don't know if that's what that's supposed to look like. But anyways, you get the little Wacom tablet and it's kind of hard to position things sometimes. See if I can get his collar not to look so stupid. Yeah, that's okay. He's got like a second collar, doesn't he? You know what? Mine doesn't. He's got that. His undershirt is down there. Put his Adam's apple in. I'll come back and probably tweak his eyes just a little bit. Kind of really need to wrap this up, though. Put his collar in here. Is he buttoned all the way down, or is it just the top? It's just the top. His shirt makes no sense. Don't think his shoulders are quite wide enough, but I'm just going to go with what I've got. Here again, I don't do curves very well. And normally he has this weird little design on his belt. I'm not going to put that in, where it's got kind of a texture to it. It's got bumps and everything. I'm just going to push it out. Belt buckle. Actually, buckle would go the other way. I don't know. Don't really care. Wait, what side would the sheath be on? I don't know. He's not got one. You can't see it. Oops. Not quite sure where I put his waist. It's right here now. Now you'll notice, zoomed in like that, you can't really see the full figure. You can kind of see it up here in the corner, but you can't see the full figure very well. That's one of the reasons why I do that big sketch first. With just a real loose sketch. I try to get the proportions and everything as close as I can, so that when I come back and do this second layer, then I can get in and do the details more. You know what? I didn't give him his glove. And I mean, I do that even when I'm doing it actual physical pencil or anything. I kind of work that same way. Where I have that first layer really loose and really large and out there so that I can get the big picture, and then I go down and I literally put my head closer to the paper or the whatever board I'm working on. And I'm going to hold down Shift, of course, in Photoshop. You can get that nice sharp line like that. And I'm going to rotate it into place. It's sort of like using a ruler, but not. And I used to think you weren't supposed to use rulers in art. Used to think that was cheating. But no, you look at really good artists, they don't use it for everything. You can get really... You try to put straight lines on like everything where they don't belong, then you really starts to look kind of stiff. But when they do like backgrounds, or whoa, that is a thin plate right there. I need to fix it. When they do backgrounds and stuff, they do use a ruler to get that straight line. And it's kind of look out of place on him because I didn't go through and do this all nice and neat, but whatever. Now I guess I'll just throw this out there now. I'm gonna do this pull, just put a line in, and then Control E to push it down. That way you don't have a bunch of lines all over your... Just throw a line in there. Once you have it like you like, just merge it down to the layer below. And he's got his. Just decide that his... I don't know, I didn't sketch his hand, so I'm not sure what I'm doing here. Close enough. Close enough, I say. This is already almost 20 minutes long. I apologize for that. If you're bored, you can always watch another video, I guess, on YouTube. Or can you? Maybe I've somehow trapped you on this video here. I'll try to make the next one shorter. I do not work quickly, as you probably have noticed. We're almost done. I'll probably throw in some real quick shading here at the end. And I cannot see his boots at all. Oh, he's got... That's right, he's got that weird layer over thing in Ocarina of Time where his boots layer over themselves. Here. I don't know if there are any actual boots that do that. I guess they had to get the ideas for some place, or maybe they just thought it looked cool. I cannot see the reference material on his boots, so these are just going to be some ugly boots. I really don't like drawing shoes at all anyway, so yeah. I should enjoy it more, I guess. I mostly just like drawing the faces. I do enjoy them a lot more than I did. One day I just decided I need to learn how to draw shoes better, so I just sat down, found some pictures of shoes, and just kept drawing. That's usually the best way to learn how to do something. See how other people do it and just look at the real world. How do shoes actually look in the real world? How do I transition that to an actual line on a page? I'm not sure if I'm drawing tights or what here. And I don't remember where his knees are. So that's gonna look weird. Yeah, that does. He's got this weird skirt that I've given him. Hard to get lines. Oh, try this. Yeah, I guess it's good where it is. I don't know if that was worse or better. I'm just going to leave it where it is. And like I said, normally I would go for my third layer here, but I'm not. I'm just going to leave it as a sketch. And I can't really see his eyes enough to see how they do them, except for to Link where he's got the cat eyes. This. Ocarina of Time and the other links don't have that, though. More realistic links. Realistic in a manner of speaking, of course. Do I want to give him bottom eyelids? I don't know. And I'll just... Yeah, I would, if I was doing the next layer, I would go through and tweak his hair a little bit so that it looked right. For when I went to do the inking, so I'd know where to put the lines for the hair. Yeah. I'll just go with a little bit of depth. You can't see what I did here. I switched from shape dynamics to other dynamics, and I have it set up so that pen presser controls the opacity. And that's how I kind of get my smoothness on the shading. Because the harder I push, the darker it's going to be. I don't want it to be quite that dark, so I'm going to pick a color somewhere in between. There we go. And I should have chosen where my light source was coming from before I started this, but whatever. Shadow. Shadow on the upper lip. Under the... Put my eraser, get other dynamics too, so that the more I push, the more it erases. And I'm not sure why I'm zoomed in like that. Nobody's gonna see that. Oops. Go back to brush. I got the shadow on the upper lip and under the bottom lip. I'm just gonna move his whole shield over here, give it kind of a darker color. And then I can go through, and because it's opaque, it just makes it darker. And I'll make these pop out. Oops. So a little bit more detail. In hindsight, I really haven't talked a lot about the game, have I? I'll try to get used to that. Like I said, I'm not used to talking while I'm drawing. It's like chewing bubblegum and walking at the same time. Some people can do it, some people can't. I don't know why people can't, but I've heard they can't. Maybe that's just an urban rumor. What would I know? And if I really cared, I would go through and make sure that these actually stayed inside the lines, but I don't. There's some skinny legs there. I think that's the problem. I didn't make them thick enough. Oh well, too late now. What? Now you can tell he actually has tights on it. It's not just... didn't put pants on in the morning. His waist is too far down. Yeah, listen to me nitpick. It's really fun to listen to, isn't it? Get this one last shoe over here. Is that everything? I guess that's everything. I don't know. There you have it, Link. One more touch. Oops, I don't even know what the year it is. There you have it. Link. Well, hopefully some of this was fun. I'll try to make it go a little faster next time. Thank you all for watching, and hopefully you haven't heard, if you haven't read anything about or seen anything about my game, I've got another video on the same channel. Check it out, see what it's about. Have a good week.